Namaste, good morning, good morning, distinguished excellencies, speakers, and the wonderful audience, both online and that who are present here today. My name is Sanjoo Malhotra, and I'll be the host for today. Mahatma Gandhi was a true innovator who broke status quo and led by example. He disrupted things as they were and taught how a goal can be achieved and showed how not to give up until achieved. Let us use his example as a guiding light as I warmly welcome all of you to the 8th India-Sweden Innovation Day on the theme, Accelerating India's and Sweden's Green Transition, especially on the eve of COP26. Dialogue, sharing knowledge, and collaboration are a true catalyst for innovation for India and Sweden to achieve the SDG goals together. We have an exciting day lined up for you. Keeping the triple helix model in mind, we will connect the dots and bridge India and Sweden through our discussion on innovation partnership, energy, transportation, Industry 4.0, AI innovations from India, startup ecosystem, digitalization, and healthcare, with government leaders, business leaders, scientists, startups, and academia. India-Sweden Innovation Day is brought to you by India Unlimited in association with Embassy of India in Sweden, Sweden-India Business Council, Confederation of Indian Industry, and Startup India. This day has been made possible with the fantastic support of all our partners. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give them a big round of applause. I now welcome Håkan Kingstedt, Chairman of Sweden-India Business Council, to welcome our excellencies and distinguished speakers for the inauguration. Håkan, please.
Thank you, Sanjoo, very much. Looking forward to a great day, good discussions, and we are really moving the changes development between the countries. To make that happen, we have distinguished guests that will join us, and on behalf of the Sweden-India Innovation Day, we warmly welcome the delegates, and especially respected Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Government of India. We have Mr. Ibrahim Baylan, Honorable Minister of Business, Industry and Innovation, Government of Sweden. We have Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. And we have Darja Isaksson, Director General, Vinnova, Sweden's Innovation Agency. We have the Honorable Ambassador of India to Sweden, Mr. Tanmaya. Welcome. We have our Ambassador of Sweden to India, Klas, Molin, joining us today. Warm welcome to all of you.
I would now warmly like to welcome Ambassador Tanmaya to please come and give a welcome speech.
Good morning and greetings from Stockholm. Welcome to the 8th edition of India-Sweden Innovation Day. We are honored that Honorable Ministers Mr. Baylan and Dr. Jitendra Singh are joining this inaugural session. I would like to thank Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary to Departments of Science and Technology and Biotechnology, Ms. Darja Isaksson, Director General of Vinnova, as also Ambassador Klas Molin for joining this session. We are finally witnessing successes in the fight against the global pandemic through vaccines and diagnostics. This has been driven by the speed of scientific research and innovation and the close collaboration of researchers with entrepreneurs and government agencies. Last week, India crossed an historic landmark, that of 1 billion vaccine doses administered in just 9 months. Among other things, it is a testimony to India's innovation and ability to manufacture at scale. The large Indian economy is bouncing back strongly and registered a growth of 20% in the first quarter of 2021-22. As economic growth returns, the battle against global warming also resumes in earnest. Accelerating an inclusive green transition is the key. This requires innovative, sustainable solutions for cleaner technologies, circular economy, smart grids, AI and digitalization, and life sciences and health tech. These are also the areas of our ongoing collaboration and partnerships between India and Sweden. Sweden continues to be ranked number 2 on global innovation indices among the top 2, and is a leading economy on competitiveness and sustainability. India, too, is rapidly improving on all these measures. Innovation, research, clean technologies, therefore, form an important basis of our partnership. It is in this context that this annual Innovation Day brings together researchers, businesses, and investors alike, and we thank all the business leaders and other participants for joining today's interaction. Despite pandemic, our political engagement has further intensified. This year, our prime ministers have interacted twice, once in March in a virtual summit, and then followed by the India-EU summit in May. Trade ministers had a substantive engagement in April, and the defense ministers interacted with industry from both sides in June. The India-Sweden Joint International Initiative on Climate Action, the LEAD-IT, Leadership Group on Industry Transition, launched a couple of years ago, continues to attract important new members. The US joined earlier this year. The group aims to work on transition to cleaner technologies. Sweden has also joined the International Solar Alliance. Joint calls for co-funding industrial R&D projects have been announced by both countries in areas such as smart grids, smart cities, Internet of Things, and digitalization. India and Sweden are among the few countries who have extensive manufacturing capabilities in defense, and who are also engaged in space and polar research. New avenues of collaboration in space technologies are being actively explored, and fresh collaboration is being pursued in polar research also. Here in Sweden, major new industrial innovations are underway, for instance, producing green steel and greener batteries at a very large scale. In India, too, extensive reforms are catalyzing startups and innovation. Despite pandemic, the number of unicorns emerging from India is multiplying. Drones are delivering vaccines. Space tech companies are testing 3D printed rocket engines. World's first DNA vaccine for COVID-19 has been developed and approved in India. Other major AI-assisted health tech solutions are being commercialized. FinTech is booming. Geospatial data acquisition, use, and application have been liberalized. Startups are demonstrating fast charging of electric vehicles. An Indian startup that has developed low-cost portable technology converting agriculture waste biomass into usable fuel while reducing pollution has just been recognized for the Earthshot Prize. Many such innovators and startups are supported by government agencies, including, for instance, the Department of Science and Technology and Biotechnology. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, is also helping with incubation of space startups. India is well on its way to meeting its Paris commitments through investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency. India's ability to scale is reducing the cost of solar power significantly. Prime Minister Modi has also announced a national hydrogen mission to make India as one of the global hubs for producing green hydrogen. This too offers enormous opportunities of collaboration. Indian companies are working with Swedish partners to develop and deliver sustainable solutions here in Sweden. All this makes for exciting times where technology is being deployed for innovative solutions and scaling up response to meet development challenges, something that India offers. The future is promising, and this is a win-win situation. I would like to thank the India Unlimited, the Sweden-India Business Council, SIBC, the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, and Startup India for helping organize this event. We are grateful that Honorable Minister Baylan and Dr. Jitendra Singh have spared their valuable time to join this edition of India-Sweden Innovation Day. We look forward to their insights and guidance on the theme for today's interactions, Accelerating India-Sweden's Green Transition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. I would now like to warmly welcome Darja Isaksson. Please do come. Director General for Vinnova, Sweden's innovation agency.
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra. Ambassador Lal, Your Excellencies, dear friends, colleagues. Now, Sweden is a country with a long tradition and a strong belief in the power of collaboration. And our innovation ecosystem stimulates co-creation because we know that sharing knowledge, risk, and opportunities creates value for all. And strong international partnerships and collaborations is therefore a key priority for us. Sweden and India have very close bilateral ties, and our innovation partnership is supported on the very highest level. Vinnova, Sweden's innovation agency, therefore value our excellent relationships with China, including with the Indian Department of Science and Technology and the Department of Biotechnology, represented by Secretary Dr. Swarup here today. Vinnova, DST, and DBT have successfully collaborated for more than a decade now, through joint calls, through knowledge sharing, and through strategic dialogue and projects. I'm very pleased to announce that DST and Vinnova have now just agreed to fund more innovation projects that can start this autumn. Now, we need to work together more than ever, because the challenges of our time, as we heard, are global and urgent. We know that we need to transform our society in a very short time. Every city, every value chain, the way we travel, the way we provide welfare, and every consumption pattern needs to transform to lie safely within planetary boundaries, and this needs to happen in a socially sustainable way. Now, to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we need innovation. In the meaning of radically improved technology, business models, ways of working, we need innovation at a level that brings about transformative change. Achieving this requires us to work and act differently. Business as usual is just not enough, and we need to do it together. Therefore, our efforts and our resources must be directed towards this necessary transformation. That's why our next upcoming Indo-Swedish call, planned to open early next year, will focus on circular economy, because circular economy is essential to a sustainable society. Reuse, recycling, and remanufacturing is needed for long-term use of materials and other resources. This is the way to reduce waste and limit excess extraction of natural resources. And transformation into a circular economy is a global challenge because value chains are global. And when we shift from a linear to a circular economy, this also means a shift from value chains to value cycles. This is a complex transition for society because it requires changes in just about every sector in society. Therefore, we will favor now applications contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals, projects where the efforts of different partners complement each other towards a common goal. And we will organize information sessions and matchmaking activities related to this call. If you're interested in applying for funding, do keep an eye out. And participating in this call from the Swedish side are government agencies from us, for the Swedish Research Council for Health, Living and Welfare, as well as the Swedish Research Council, the Swedish Energy Agency, also represented here today, and Vinnova, the Swedish Innovation Agency. And the participating departments on the Indian side are DST and DBT. And with this many stakeholders coming together, we can provide support for full value chain projects. Before I end, I would therefore like to take this opportunity to thank you all for all our Indian partners on innovation. Thank you for this fruitful collaboration so far. We look forward to continuing our joint effort to accelerate India's and Sweden's green transition. And lastly, I would really like to urge you to not miss out on today's last session on the topic of AI and digitalization. This is a strategic area for our partnership, and it's underlined in our agreement. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Isaksson. And now I would warmly like to welcome Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, to please address the audience. Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and very good morning to everybody, and congratulations on this 8th India-Sweden Innovation Day with a very important topic of accelerating India-Sweden green transition. Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Excellency Mr. Ibrahim Baylan, Excellency Ambassador Klas Molin, Ambassador Tanmaya and all other dignitaries who have joined in from the Swedish side, from the Indian side, my colleagues from the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology. It's always a pleasure to be on any India-Sweden event. One of our very old bilateral partners, a very productive partnership, and something which has gone through the entire value chain, as was being said by the DG Vinnova. We've actually looked at each step in the value chain to take knowledge generation, discovery to product development, and also focused not just on building the bilateral partnerships in a specific identified area, but working towards building a very robust ecosystem. Collectively, we have over this long partnership been able to establish an ecosystem which has allowed us not only to support joint projects, but also to build human resource capacities, both in our academic research institutes, in our startups, in our entrepreneurs, in our incubation ecosystem, which has allowed us to take forward many of these areas that we are today discussing. The partnership which the Department of Science and Technology and the Department of Biotechnology have had with all the Swedish stakeholders has been very, very strong. And through this, as has been rightly said, programs have been supported across different areas of digital health, areas of clean energy, and of course, we are looking at newer interventions as we take it forward. Working very closely with the Swedish Research Council for Basic Research, with Vinnova for Applied Research for the over past 2 decades, we have been able to establish this partnership, as I've said, taking it right into helping our startup and research communities to grow in different fields. One very important human resource collaboration that we did for building capacities is the partnership that the Department of Biotechnology has with the Nobel Foundation there. And I think that's been an excellent series that we've done where we've been able to reach out to a large number of students within the country to take the innovation ecosystem to them. And that, of course, the COVID has sort of put a it's brought in the challenges where we could not do the event last year, but till before that, till 2019, we've been able to take this event ahead. And we hope that once we are done with this COVID and it's behind us, we will be able to resume that. We're also been DST and Dept have worked closely with the Swedish side to create these incubation ecosystem with a large number of incubators. And also we have been able to bring on board the industry participation. We have, in fact, Sweden being one of our key partners when we've organized the Global Bio India. Both in 2019 and in 2021, which was virtually, we've had a very active participation from Sweden. In the area of clean energy, which is also one of the areas for today's discussion, Sweden has been a key partner with India through many activities that we've supported, mission innovation being one of the main activities that we have done together. We have set up the first clean energy incubator, and we are very pleased that Sweden is our partner in that incubator. Master Tanmaya spoke about the Earthshot project, which one of our startups just received, who is an incubatee of the Clean Energy Incubator. We hope collectively we will be able to take our commitment for the clean energy research beyond into many other areas. We have also closely worked on smart grids. We are also working on electric vehicles, which the Department of Science and Technology has now worked towards seeing how we could scale this and also open up for international collaboration, not only with Sweden, but many other countries. The Department of Science and Technology, as you all know, has a major focus on interdisciplinary cyber-physical systems, on quantum technologies, and rightly said by the Director General Vinnova, these artificial intelligence, machine learning are key areas of focus for us, and we hope as we move on, we would be able to take these cutting-edge technologies for finding solutions for many of our computational problems as we move ahead. The Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology are committed to making available not only the resources for collaborative projects, but also being able to work along with our large number of institutes that we have and this robust ecosystem of innovation to work towards creating very important innovation hubs and clusters. Excellency Klas Molin will recall that when we've had discussions, we've always talked about the next way forward for this India-Sweden partnership. And I think now is the time when we have our Honorable Minister here, Dr. Jitendra Singh, who has again been always encouraging us to see how we can promote the startup community. I think now is the time for us to be innovative, not only in the projects that we support, but in the models of collaboration. And I think those models of collaboration have to move beyond just projects. We need to look at virtual clusters. The new virtual technologies have made us more advanced in our acceptance of these virtual technologies. So setting up virtual hubs, setting up virtual innovation clusters is probably the next step, which I'm sure the working teams on either side would be able to identify, that allows, again, the involvement of a much larger group that we can take forward. India is now positioned not only in terms of its global scale for scientific publications or its innovation, but we hope collectively we would be able to work with Sweden, which is known for its innovation ecosystem, to set up a model for joint bilateral cooperations as well. And we hope that the India-Sweden model of joint collaboration in research, in discovery research, in translational research, in innovation research across fields will be taken as a model which we will be able to emulate for many other countries that we take forward. Once again, my congratulations to the team, and I would also like to once again reiterate at the closing our sincere gratitude to our partners in Sweden for always coming out in front to be able to partner with us on new activities that we take on. And once again, to reassure you of our continued collaboration from the Department of Biotechnology and Department of Science and Technology, working with the universities and other ecosystem in the country. Thank you very much, and all good luck for this India-Sweden event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renu Swarup ji. And I thought it'll be very good to tell you a little bit more about India-Sweden Innovation Day and what we have planned for you today, especially in the presence of both the ministers, of course. So I thought, after this, we will have a session on the accelerating India-Sweden's green transition with the leadership. And by leadership, I mean there'll be like the global leaders representing both Swedish companies and Indian companies, and of course, Confederation of Indian Industry, to also discuss these issues when it comes to the green transition. Sir, after that, we will also do a specific session on the innovation partnership, which both ma'am and Darja Isaksson has spoken about. And this is a very important partnership, so we really thought, since this has been active now for the last 3-4 years, it will be very important to talk a little bit about what are the next steps. Like ma'am, you just talked about, there's a potential here to do many more new things, so we will be lifting that up. After that, a very important area will be the Sweden-India on the energy side. The Swedish Energy Agency has been very active in India, and so they will be talking a little bit about the innovation accelerator that they have been active with in India, and talking about all the different energy innovations that both Sweden and India are working together on. You'll also be pleased to know that there are also Indian companies investing in Sweden in this area. So investment is going in both directions. It's not a one-way direction. Transportation, which is also a very key issue. How do we transport everyone in a safe, sustainable manner? That will also be part of our discussion for the day. And of course, industry transition is an equally very important big part of getting towards a green transition. And here we'll be discussing, Minister, the Industry 4.0 and future sustainable manufacturing. After which we will actually talk about AI innovations from India, which I think this will be very interesting also for Vinnova to listen to. There is a fantastic energy and also creativity coming from the continent in solving global issues that can be easily replicated. And I feel that might be very interesting for Swedish audience and for the Swedish audience to know, what is the innovations coming actually from the Indian side. After that, we will, of course, have a focus on the startup ecosystem. We've had there's a great network working between Sweden and India in this area. And we will be highlighting some of the unicorns from Sweden and some of them from India in this dialogue, which will be then followed by a special session on healthcare, which is, of course, very important for both the countries. And this will be a session on healthcare, which will then be followed by a session on digitalization. And you'll be happy to know, Minister, that we will have there'll be about 6 startups presenting today, 4 of them from India, 2 from Sweden. So this is also an opportunity to give them a stage to actually present and come with their ideas and innovations. Having said that, I think it would be an honor and a privilege for us to please invite Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Government of India, to please inaugurate India-Sweden Innovation Day. Sir, we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. His Excellency, Mr. Ibrahim Baylan, the Swedish Minister for Business, Industry and Innovation, my colleague and Secretary in the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Renu Swarup, India's ambassador in Sweden, Mr. Tanmaya, my other colleagues and the scientific fraternity from the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, and also various Swedish agencies participating in this meet, online as well as offline. At the very outset, I want to congratulate the Indian and Swedish scientists for successful 8 years of India-Sweden innovation and its celebration that we are observing today. And I also compliment the Embassy of India and the Swedish stakeholders who are involved in organizing this event. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an immense pleasure in stating that the science and technology cooperation, as was being mentioned by Dr. Renu Swarup, between the 2 countries forms an important component of our bilateral cooperation, not only confined to science, but in general, overall, holistically as well. And this was initiated through the Indo-Swiss Inter-Government Agreement signed way back in 2005. And the agreement envisaged provisions for cooperation through exchange of scientists, exchange of graduate students, exchange of research scholars, exchange of technologists, exchange of specialists, and other workers in the area of science and technology. Joint identification of science and technical problems, formulation, and their implementation of joint research projects, which might lead to application of the results of such research in industry, agriculture, and other fields, as well as the exchange of experiences and know-how resulting from such applications are the other aspects inherent to this mutual understanding and agreement. I have no hesitation to emphasize that the partnership between the 2 countries got a fillip after the visit by the Honorable Prime Minister of India to Sweden 2018, when Mr. Narendra Modi was there and could accomplish the historic joint declaration of intent on India-Sweden innovation partnership. And this joint declaration provided momentum and substance to the overall India-Sweden bilateral relations, as I said, not merely confined to the area of science and technology alone. Following the visit of India's Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, the scientific cooperation was reviewed at official level by the Joint Committee at a meeting held on the 2nd of May 2019. This identified several important themes of science and technology cooperation, such as the smart cities, clean technology, circular economy, etc., etc. And both the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and the Swedish Ministry of Enterprise and Innovation have since been seeking to implement the same. Energy sector as you all know, friends, is an important area of cooperation identified in the joint declaration on India-Sweden Innovation Partnership during the visit of the Prime Minister of India in April 2018, and which also envisages taking forward concrete cooperation between the two countries. We in India are looking for technology solutions to clean energy, and I'm happy to note that the Department of Science and Technology, as well as the Swedish Energy Agency, have together worked out and launched a call for industrial R&D proposals in this sector. This would have industry, academia, scientific cooperation in the PPP model, and I've been told that we have received about 20 joint industry-led proposals which are in an advanced stage of constitution. We may implement them after shortlisting them. And this is actually the essence of Prime Minister Modi's approach as far as all the endeavors are concerned, particularly in the area of science and technology. De-siloization and working in a more integrated manner with a more integrated and a holistic approach. In addition, the Department of Biotechnology is already engaged with Swedish partners on Incubator Connect, digital healthcare, and global Bio-India programs, enhancing the partnership in the field of biotechnology. Considering the mutual interest between the two countries, both the governments through the TST and Vinnova have launched the joint call on smart cities, clean technologies, digitalization, including Internet of Things, machine learning, etc., etc. Incidentally, the joint call was also announced by Honorable Prime Ministers of both the countries during their bilateral meeting on the 5th of March this year, that is 2021. The joint call has resulted in 22 projects, and 3 joint projects have already been recommended from both sides for the purpose of funding. Both the governments, the Government of India and the Government of Sweden, have proposed to launch a new joint call on circular economy, including the themes such as earth science and waste to wealth by the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, and the Swedish Vinnova during the year 2021-22. The ICMR India and the Sweden Forte have also agreed to launch a new call on 2021-22 on broad themes like public health prevention, health promotion, organization, and provision of care. And therefore, I think we are on the right course. We are so far been successful in moving ahead the manner in which we have realized for ourselves. And this collaboration, I have the confidence to say, in the area of science, technology, and biotechnology has actually also paved the way for a greater bonding between the two nations of ours, and would also pave the way for collaboration in spheres not confined only to science and technology. And therefore, this innovation collaboration assumes greater importance than just meets the eye. It has a larger relevance than it apparently seems to be. And I conclude, therefore, by saying that I wish a great success of the event. I'm sure this would, as I said, and I repeat, further enhance the Indo-Sweden partnership, not only in the science and technology, but through the science and technology for a larger collaboration between these two friendly nations of ours. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. Now, I would really like to warmly welcome Minister Ibrahim Baylan, Honorable Minister for Business, Industry and Innovation, Government of Sweden. Warm welcome back, Mr. Baylan. You have inaugurated India-Sweden Innovation Day now. This will be the 3rd year in a row, so it's a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you very much, and it is my pleasure. Excellencies, Honorable Minister Singh, friends and colleagues. The relationship between India and Sweden is, I would say, stronger than ever. Even during the most challenging of times, during this pandemic, India and Sweden continued to launch new bilateral innovation collaborations. Our close friendship and common interest in sustainable growth, solving societal challenges, was a key topic when Prime Minister Löfven met with Prime Minister Modi in a virtual summit earlier this year. Sweden is a global leader in innovation built on collaboration. We have been ranked the number one country in the European Union 5 years straight, and I think the latest global ranking we were number 2 after Switzerland and just before the United States. And I mention this because this is now more important than ever, that collaboration between countries, as well as between businesses, academia, and public sector, is necessary to face challenges and build new solutions, new resilience, and sustainable societies. That is why the partnership between India and Sweden is so important and gives us an opportunity to combine the strength of our innovation systems. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, Sweden has the goal of becoming the world's first fossil-free welfare society. We believe that encouraging companies to develop new climate-neutral technologies is a key component of our future competitiveness. Fossil-free steel from hybrid and H2 green steel, the Northvolt battery production, and the new Swedish electric transport laboratory are a few examples of our commitment to achieving this goal. It will have an impact in Sweden, but we believe that will also have an impact globally as new climate-neutral export products are being developed. That is one of the reasons why I'm so pleased that India and Sweden are in charge of the leadership group for industrial transition, the Lead It project. I'm also pleased that Sweden has joined the International Solar Alliance. And dear Honourable Minister Singh, we would love, by joining the alliance, we now expect more to see the sun more in Sweden also the coming years. So this is part of the commitment from India to guarantee Sweden more sun during the year. The innovation partnership between India and Sweden gave us a clear message to encourage Swedish and Indian stakeholders to build new bilateral innovation collaborations in a number of areas. The number of collaborations has increased since 2018. They follow the important principles of co-creation and co-development, connecting policymakers, businesses, academia, and innovators in both our countries. It's government to government. We are sharing experiences, discussing policy developments in areas such as science and technology, intellectual property rights, space, healthcare, and energy. One very important part of the partnership is the joint funding of innovation projects. The latest example from earlier this year, when Swedish innovation agency Vinnova and Indian Department of Science and Technology announced a new call for projects. And today, I am excited to hear about the plans to soon launch a new bilateral call for projects in the field of circular economy, with strong support from a wide group of research and innovation funding agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the topic of the India-Sweden Innovation Day reflects the diversity in our collaboration. We are building people-to-people links between businesses, academia, agencies, and innovation hubs from both countries, connecting research and industrial R&D. The innovation partnership creates many opportunities for trade and investments, and for increasing the competitiveness of companies in both our countries. Together, Indian and Swedish companies can develop solutions for a global market. I am very happy to see both startups and large companies represented in the program today. In this transformation, it is important to acknowledge that the interdependence between startups and large companies as well as between industry and service sector. I believe we have a lot to gain from connecting innovative startups and large enterprises both in India and in Sweden. Swedish companies have been making in India for many decades. Today, there are over 220 of them in India, employing over 200,000 people directly and 2.2 million indirectly. And Swedish companies continue to invest and partnering with Indian research and innovation ecosystem. Dear friends, the India-Sweden Healthcare Innovation Center connects innovative startups with large companies, healthcare providers and policymakers. And the Sweden-India Transport Innovation and Safety Partnership continues working for innovations in safe and sustainable transportation. So, dear friends, I will conclude by just remembering my visit 2 years ago. It feels like an eternity now after the pandemic, dear friends. 2 years ago, I had the privilege of joining the state visit to India by Their Majesties, the King and Queen of Sweden. Together with a strong delegation, we confirmed the ambition of the innovation partnership in a high-level dialogue in the presence of Prime Minister Modi. I am very pleased to see that our bilateral partnership has grown even stronger since then, even during this pandemic, during the last 2 years. From my point of view, the future looks bright, and I encourage you all to continue this important work in the years to come. I wish you the best of luck for today's events and the best of luck with the innovation partnership and finding solution to how we could make our way of life more sustainable but also better for people both in Sweden and India, and by that leadership also convince people globally that it is possible to live a good life without harming the environment or the climate. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Minister Baylan. I would now like to invite Honorable Klas Molin, Ambassador of Sweden to India. Ambassador Molin, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Sanjoo. Honorable Ministers, Dr. Singh, Mr. Baylan, Ambassador Lal, Madam Secretary, Dr. Swarup, Director General Darja, Isaksson, Håkan, Kingstedt, all organizers and participants. Very good morning to you from New Delhi. I have precious little, I think, to add to what our ministers, secretaries, director generals, etc. have said. Suffice it almost to say that I and colleagues here in the embassy and the Swedish community in India look very much forward to participating in today's Innovation Day. It's an fantastic example, an excellent example of the Swedish-Indian partnership that so many have spoken of today already, which I think is amply illustrated by the large and strong political government, agency, private sector and academic buy-in that we're seeing. It's not surprising, perhaps, given the very clear mandates and leadership that our prime ministers have shown in this and in other fields, clearly indicating that innovation, sustainability are key areas for us to cooperate in. But listening to some of the statements this morning, not least to Dr. Swarup, it's clear that it's not just a buy-in. It's very much a partnership that is being driven on both sides. Not just looking at what we have accomplished, but very much setting our sights to the future and looking at new and potentially very important and constructive areas for future cooperation. I was greatly gratified by a meeting with Dr. Singh earlier this year, where he gathered Dr. Swarup and all the other key players in his ministry and in Indian agencies, looking from the get-go of his taking up this important areas of responsibility, looking at how India and Sweden can cooperate much even closer than we have in years past. And so it drives us every day, and it's a reminder of our task. Let me, of course, also, on a day like this, congratulate my friend, Ambassador Tanmaya, and his very experienced team for this edition of the Innovation Day. I've been fortunate enough to participate in person in earlier years, having been in Stockholm at the time of year when the Innovation Day happens, and I know the impact that that this event has. Let me assure him and all others, as necessary, that of course we here at our end, Sweden and India, are trying to carry the same torch in furthering our cooperation, be it at the upcoming Bangalore Tech Summit next month, or at our very own Nobel Memorial Week in December, both, of course, heavily geared towards innovation and sustainability. Even before then, also in November, and I'll use this as my final point, and a slight plug, we plan to showcase our services, the embassies, Business Sweden in India, Sweden-India Business Council in Sweden, as well as the Chamber of Commerce here in India. Together also with our very active Office of Science and Innovation within the embassy. In Sweden, in a week of meetings, the second week of November, in Stockholm, Gothenburg, Luleå, and Malmö, in meeting with interested parties, both to see what we can help Swedish companies and investors with in India, but also how we can tie these partnerships, especially perhaps on the startup scene, in making their efforts more valuable and easier as they look at tying up with Indian partners. We call it It's Time for India and Sweden, and I hope that you have received invitations for this. If not, let us know, and we'll be very happy to forward them to you. It takes place during the week of November 8th, and we hope we'll have as many participants as possible, and we'll take the torch forward as best we can on innovation and sustainability. Best of luck today to all participants. Thank you very much, and I look forward to taking part.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Klas Molin. We'd first like to thank from India Sweden Innovation Day all our partners, everyone present here today, to thank the Honorable Ministers Dr. Jitendra Singh and Mr. Ibrahim Baylan for blessing and inaugurating India Sweden Innovation Day, and a big thank you to Dr. Renu Swarup and Darja Isaksson. And we are so excited about this new announcement about the circular economy. Thank you so much, Ambassador Molin, and thank you so much, Ambassador Lal, for all your big support to make this day happen. And of course, the Embassy of India in Sweden, who without their support, we wouldn't be able to do this day. So thank you very, very much.